Hey folks, HTCG here, and in today's video we are going to do a quick guide towards regionals. So I've seen in the chats and I've been asked a few times if I have any tips or advice on things to bring, mental state going into a big tournament, and how I prepare. So we'll start off. I'm going to make this a quick fire video because I'm leaving in about 15 minutes to go to Wolverhampton, where the UK regional is going to be happening for One Piece. So, things that I would pack before going in. Some of the most basic and important things: water and a snack. Bring this. So it's a long day, right? It's going to be at least 9 to 10 rounds usually for these big events. So making sure that you've got something on hand is obviously really, really important, because in these events it can be quite expensive to get drinks, or the queues are huge. So yes, keep that in mind. Other things I would bring would be a portable charger. One Piece, especially OPE, are right now using an online system on your phone for you to be able to see your pairings. So the last thing that you want is your phone to die and to cause more stress. The most important thing with preparing for these events is setting yourself up to be in the most stress-free environment, in a stressful environment, as you possibly can be. So I always make sure to fully charge this, bring a wire with me, and make sure that my phone is charged, because again, the last thing you want is to be out of charge. When I was in Utrecht, I forgot to bring one of these, and for half of the day I was sat by a charging port, charging my phone. So yes, quite important. Other things that I would bring, I'm reaching in my pocket for that, are headphones. It's going to be loud. I struggle in loud, very busy environments, so for me to be able to put headphones in at the end of my events or before going into them is really important. Putting on something that I'm used to, that puts me in a relaxing environment, is really nice to be able to get into that zen and refresh before going into the next rounds. One thing that is important is One Piece has a rule that says you're not allowed to use headphones during gameplay. So if you do wear them and your opponent calls a judge, the judge will go against you because it's in the rules. But these are really, really useful to be able to calm you down, especially if you have anxiety, or you're just feeling anxious about the event in general. So bring some headphones. Obviously it doesn't have to be these, just bring any headphones that are good for you. As much and as funny as it is to be able to laugh about playing card games and stinky players, bring deodorant. I prefer stick deodorant when I'm going to events. And the reason is because I don't want to have to go to the bathroom to use spray on deodorant, especially because the queues could be big, and also often it stinks of caca in there because there's so many people going for number 2s. So yeah, bring some deodorant. Again, just thinking about from an anxious point of view, you do not want to be worried about, do I smell right now? You may sweat because it's going to be warm in there. So yeah, make sure you bring something that can just make sure that you're feeling fresh and ready to play One Piece. Next up, basic things for bring your binder, bro. Don't forget your binder. Don't forget the cards that you want to put in there. Make sure you have arranged it in the way that you want, so that it's front facing. Some advice for trading: watch your binder like a hawk. Make sure you're seeing every card that people are taking out. Don't keep your eyes off it. And that may seem like a very simple thing to say. However, it's actually very, very easy to get sidetracked because there's so many people around you. People are going to put binders in front of you that have a lot of cards that you're probably going to want, or you're going to be like, whoa, that's really cool. It's very easy to get distracted, and that's how people get robbed. So bring a binder, but keep a close eye on it. Make sure you're being calm. Sometimes help if you've got a friend around with you. So yeah, keep that in mind. Playmat, bring a playmat, obviously. You don't want to be playing on a table, and these events don't provide playmats, so you'll be playing on an empty table if you don't bring your own playmat. Obviously bring your deck, and alongside that I would say bring spare cards that at any point you could run. So this weekend I'm going to be running Saka, I think, I still don't know, which is crazy. But yeah, make sure you bring spare cards, because the last thing that you want to be doing on a Friday or today or just before the event is thinking, ooh, maybe I'll switch in another Helmepo, but you've left it at home. And that happens a lot, so make sure you bring your cards. If you're happy with the list, that's perfectly fine. I would still bring the extras because you might have a spur of the moment. Ooh, maybe I'll change this, and that happens again a lot. The other thing is that I always bring a spare deck box with me. You may not be going to the event with the idea of getting a lot of cards from people. However, there are so many trade binders around you, there are vendors there, that you maybe end up picking up a lot of alt arts or cards that you're missing from your collection. So bring a deck box so that you aren't worried about putting things in a binder space or where am I putting all of this? You're flustered, there's a lot of people. Bringing a deck box that you can just put them in, put the deck box back in your bag. Yeah, carefree. Other things that I'd bring? That's a good question. I think that's honestly like my go-to. Clothes. Like, it seems simple. I would bring, it depends on how you are. I run quite hot as a person, so I never bring an additional jumper with me, but I always have a jacket because you don't know if it's going to be cold, and again, you don't want to be in a situation where you're playing and you're thinking, I'm freezing, but also you don't want to be in a situation where you're playing and you're thinking, Jesus, I'm boiling, but you don't have a way to remove your layers. So make sure that you're just being kind to yourself and sticking to what you know. Some general advice about the event: show up a little bit earlier, definitely in them before start. One Piece has been running these systems really, really well. I don't know what the time on the start is. It's either going to be 9 or 10 usually. But if they've said you need to show up by this time, make sure you're early, because usually they're trying to start on the dot, which is really nice for TCGs. So yeah, you don't want to get around one loss just for showing up late. Some advice about in-game. I know there can be mental taboo about the idea of calling a judge, but at any point, if you see anything that you have a question for, call the judge immediately. Remember that these are very competitive games, and as much as I would like to trust everybody, you need to also realize that not everybody is trustworthy. To be able to make sure that you're not in a situation where you're thinking, is this person trustworthy? If you see anything you don't like or you have a question, call the judge immediately. Don't take words from your opponent as gospel. The judges are there literally as their job to help you in these situations. It doesn't matter how many times you need to call them immediately if you see anything that's fishy or you're confused by something. That would be my advice. Yeah, there we go. Back to the trading, the one thing that is going to be here that maybe a lot of you haven't actually interacted with is vendors. So vendors are great because they have the cards that you probably might need for your collection, but things to understand about them is they will probably be a little bit marked up. Usually they're about 10 or 15% higher than like card market lowest, and also you can sell to vendors, but make sure that you understand that you are not going to get the value of CM lowest on it. You're probably going to get about 70% of that, if that. So as much as it may seem like a good idea to like get rid of a lot of your collection, I would advise against just offloading half of your binder to the vendors, because it's a very fast way to lose any money that you've put into your collection. So yeah, if you have bits and pieces that you're happy to get rid of and you can't get rid of them in the trades, then yeah, sure, you do that. It's also your decision, but I would give you the heads up just to be careful with that, because again, it's very easy to become sidetracked into the idea of just immediately going to the vendors and making a little bit of cash at the time. Yeah, other than that, just general advice about actually playing, I guess. Take your time. There are no take-backs here. Some people are nice, but the majority of people understand that this is a very high-level competitive tournament, so no take-backs allowed. Take your time with your plays. You have time to think. There are new timing implemented rules in place. So we used to have 2 minutes per action to be able to decide. I believe that's been literally 1/4. You now have 30 seconds per action to decide what you're going to be doing before your opponent could call a judge on you. So keep that in mind, because I don't know if this is just No Heroes, but I believe time in rounds have reduced to 30 minutes instead of 35. So that's something they're really trying to keep on top of, especially now when we're seeing decks like Moria, Sakazuki, where you have to think about what's going on with your trash, your future plays. It's like you're trying to play chess, but like in chess, you are on a clock. So keep that in mind. Take your time, but don't take the mick, would be my advice. And yeah, just honestly try to have fun. I know that's like such a cringy thing to say, but like, I love these events, not only because obviously there's a chance of getting really nice prizing and being proud of yourself for topping, but like, I'm going with a lot of friends this weekend. I'm going to see people that I've met at other tournaments. I'm really looking forward to that side of it. The social element of this is one of the biggest things that bring us together as a community. So try and relax, try and have fun, and don't beat yourself up too much if you don't have the weekend that you in your mind were planning. Try and set a realistic goal. My realistic goal is usually to go X2. That's my end goal. Try and get top 64 is usually where I want to be. So try and set something similar for you that's realistic for how you have been doing in your past events. And yeah, have fun. I hope this helped in any way. I know it was kind of basic, but some people asked for it. So yeah, peace.